Good morning, folks. Welcome to Something More Than Gibberish. This is our fortnightly show that I host with Gemini Fox. Today, our guests are all the way from Canada. Ramrockspeaks, or Ramon Carty and Kheneil Black, brothers in arms. So let's see how we go. I'll bring Gemini up. Hang on, her request just went off. I'm unable to bring you up, Gemini. It's just not giving me that. I'll try to bring you up from the audience, maybe. And waits for at least an hour or so before. Hey, good morning.
Hello, sir.
How are you, ma'am? Just waiting for
the weather.
Yeah, you sound like it. Sorry to hear not well. Waiting for Ram and
Kheneil?
Kheneil. Hopefully they're not far away. I was a couple of minutes late starting up as well. Interestingly, just now I saw it said that you put in a request to come up, but when I went to bring you up, there's the button wasn't there to bring you up. So that's normally it takes a couple of hours at least before before it plays up.
That's Instagram for you.
And it's doing exactly the same with Ram. Ram's putting a request, but there's no button, so I'll bring you up from the crowd, Ram. Yeah, because it's my Saturday 8 a.m., so I'm not exactly wide awake. Here he is. One of the duo is here.
Greetings, 1 second, guys.
Hello, sir.
Just walked in. How are y'all?
Yeah. Oh, I'm good, but my partner in crime is not the best by the sound of it.
Yeah, what's going on, everyone? What did you swallow, Gemini?
All of these American germs. That's what I swallowed.
Well, you can keep it over there, please. Thank you.
I
I
was
got
thinking
chubby
maybe
chubby.
she was watching a few episodes of Star Wars and pretending to be Darth Vader or something. I don't know.
You see, and you tell everybody to always threaten you, but you ask for it every time. That's okay. I'll deliver one of these days, eh?
Oh, jeez. Here we go. Normally she waits till the end of the show. But
No,
how are you,
you
Ram?
you antagonize me at the beginning of the show. You get what you ask for.
I am doing well. I am doing very well. I thought I was gonna be late, but I got in here at 5:54. Did a little face wash, and here I am.
Actually, that's a good point. Gemini, something we need to talk about. Is it better to move it to like 7 p.m.? Would that give guests more time? Something, as long as it works with you, Gemini. Plus, it'll give me, during the winter months, it'll give me an extra hour sleep in. It's not 8 a.m. on a Saturday, it'll be 9 a.m. Bit selfish, but I don't know
Hey,
what.
no, I mean it works. Because majority of us with the 9 to 5s finish at 5.
Yeah,
So, it gives me a little extra time
yeah,
to, pour myself a beverage.
yeah. I'll have to consult with the boss and see what she says, what
Why
she
you
thinks.
keep on saying that?
Because you're the boss.
No, I'm not. We're the boss if I'm married. If we're dating, I'm not the boss.
Oh, well,
Oh, sorry. Sorry. My bad.
Clearly, we got that one wrong,
We
Ram.
were
Clearly. Uh,
sorry. We
what I
were
meant, what I meant was, Gemini, if it aligns with your work and your family commitments and all that as well, it's fine for me to say, gives mine Saturday morning, but for you it's Friday night. You might have other work things and you got your other in-person lives and so forth too. So that's why I said if it works with you. But we'll talk about it. So, Ram, congratulations on the book, my friend.
Thank
Last
you,
time we
thank
spoke,
you.
it was coming and now it's come.
It's come. It's here. It is available. It is. It's doing its damn thing. Yeah, here it is. This heart has eyes. Out.
Love the cover.
Yeah, yeah. The cover was done by Radiant.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
talented. Very
Very,
talented.
very, very talented. Where is Mr. Black?
He, the Iranian, I mean, she's a brilliant writer, and I love her recitals. And when we featured her on one of the very first shows, and
Yeah,
she was amazing. And then I was exposed to her artwork as well, and that's just another whole talent there.
that's a completely different ball game. Yeah, she is by far multi-talented.
Yeah. So, question: Are you happy with the outcome of the book?
I am. It is the first. Um, I needed it out.
Yeah.
I needed that out. I found one spelling mistake, and I'm okay with it. I think it's just part of the process, um, especially going through a micro press, and them just being so careful and attentive and warming, and I still had the opportunity to be super involved into how I wanted it to sound, how I wanted it to look.
Mhm.
Um, the ordering, that was really, really a pleasure to work with a publisher of that stature, because I've heard horror stories many times, and I didn't want that, especially if y'all know me. That ain't gonna fly with me. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm pretty outspoken, and I'm Jamaican. Like we like things a certain way, and they did it. They came through. Um, yeah, I'm super happy. But as an artist, I always look back and like, oh, I could have done this instead. I could have done that. But that's just the artist in me. That's just the creative in me. I'm always gonna think there's something else, but this is just one. Um, there's many more to come, So I see some stuff that I could change. I can do better, which I think is also part of the process.
It evolves, right? And look, I still find things that I would probably have changed
Right.
in some context, even in my first book. That's the perfectionist in us, right?
Right.
And and I think it's a good thing to have because it drives you.
It
You
does.
know, it drives you uh, to almost better yourself. And I think as an author, you've got to be happy with what you put out before you expect somebody else to like your work. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Because otherwise, well, it's a bit of bit hypocritic, you know. So, but that's amazing. So, I don't know where Mr. Black is.
One second. Let me give him a call. One second.
While Ram's making a call, Gemini, thank you very much. I know you don't sound very well at all, but I thank you for your efforts to make this show. Really appreciate. Uh,
If I sound bad, you should see how I look.
so you're going to show us the camera, or
Oh no. Oh no. You you know what it looks like. Remember Pepe Le Pew and the cat when it fell in the bucket of water? That's what I look like right now.
Oh dear. I mean, our guest even was excited about seeing you like this, so
Really, Ram?
Pardon?
Don't get Ram in trouble. Why are you trying to get Ram
What
in trouble?
what happened? I don't. Kheneil is setting up. He'll be on shortly. What did I do?
You didn't do anything. Renee is just looking for a fall guy, that's all.
Oh, but yeah, like why are you not on the screen, Gemini?
Because I'm under the weather. That's why I'm not on screen, sir.
You're under the weather, but like, I mean, okay.
You know what?
You can't have Kheneil and I up here and not show face. Like this is like just
Yes, I
really.
can. Yes, I can. Because the way that I look right now ain't pretty at all.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Um, are you like bonnet
Cheese
with
and bread.
with and I don't see anything wrong with that. Like what did you not wash your face today? Did you not what is it?
I have been in bed resting because I am sick. Fever,
Well,
the whole
so
lot.
then now you're here and this show is gonna dispel this fever.
Greetings. Sorry for my tardiness,
Mr.
folks.
Black, be on my side, please. They're trying to have me come on camera, and I look like the little cat that Pepe Le Pew was chasing when it fell in the bucket of water.
Oh,
Remember that little
wow. Is
cough
that what
the
happened
cat
to you?
had?
Or
Remember the little cough that the cat had?
oh, I
I
know.
have.
I know. Oh, and Pepe Le Pew like no 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 mon chéri no no no. I love
Oh,
it.
Well, I look like
How we
Oh,
doing?
that cat.
Oh boy. I mean,
Kheneil, welcome,
listen,
brother.
I'm great. Thank you for having us, having me on, having us on. I appreciate him.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this. Really been looking forward to this. As you know, we've had each of you individually, and they were great episodes, and really keen to sort of explore more into this, into the journey together. Like the friendship, and
yes.
then where to from now. And perhaps have you guys written any collaborative work?
No, you know it's crazy? We haven't. We've tried like started a couple, um, but I think like involved with another a couple other people, but like no, not never one and one, which is crazy.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it and I said, hang on, I have not seen a collaborative piece with the two of you. I've seen you collaborate with other people. And I
Yes.
thought, that's amazing because, yeah.
I
And I thought maybe I just missed them, right?
no,
Because not
no,
everything
we
comes.
haven't. We
No, if
really haven't.
when the collab comes out, because there will be a collab. Don't you worry. When it does, it'll. I don't know. I don't want to toot my own horn. I don't normally do that, but it'll be the talk of the friggin' town. I have a feeling.
I think so too. I think so too, because like you have so many similarities and then you're quite different as well, in your work. So it'll be really interesting to see how that blend would be. Who knows? Maybe it might be a co-authored book that comes out even. Who knows if there's enough collabs to go together.
That
Well
Mm,
sounds
then,
exciting. That
yeah,
sounds like a
mm,
poetry battles book right there.
that
it
Yeah.
does. Hey,
it does sound like that, doesn't
hey,
it?
hey.
Yes.
Poetry
Ah,
battles, two opposing forces because y'all write from different perspectives.
Yeah.
That would be beautiful.
We write. Yes, you're right. We write in different. We write in different colors, different tones. Different language usage, different. You know.
What I
Yeah.
like.
Mm.
So sorry. So we were saying there
So yeah. So
about
I was saying we were in. Ram and I write in so different many ways. So it's gonna be. it's really cool to see, what will happen when we do write together.
Yeah.
It's going to be very,
Yeah.
very special.
Yes, it
And,
will be.
and considering you've known each other since early childhood, you certainly would have a lot of material to,
Yes.
as
That would be a lot.
each of you, yeah, as each of you went through your individual journeys and
Yeah.
seeing each other going through the trials and tribulations of life, I'm sure, hearing the other person's perspective at all, I'm sure there would not be a shortage of material.
Right. Not at all.
No,
Yeah.
Not at all.
it's even greater because we also went to college together.
Yeah.
Um, so like we have stories, we have a lot of things that we've done together till this date.
Yes.
So you know, yeah,
So college was obviously in Canada, correct?
yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then, of
college.
course, there's that family history as well, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Our dads are besties.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait to see some of these collabs happening. Yeah. No.
Yes, I mean it's crazy how, like I mentioned before, when we were talking, the gift of an inherited friendship, right?
Mhm.
Inheriting, this person into my life, and Ram has just been, instrumental in a lot of ways, especially in the developmental years, right?
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it was great. Like we reunited just before college started, right? Just
Yeah,
before high school, and then
yeah,
right, just I think the last year of high school you were in, right?
yeah. We
Basically,
were like 16, like
yeah,
16.
15, 16 is when we reunited. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So there was a 10-year gap. That was about 4 or 5 when I left. Um, and then there was a 10-year gap, and then that right back together, and then it was weird because it was like we even I was 4 when I left, and he came back at 16. It was like we didn't miss a beat, which
Hmm.
is weird because so much happened
Informative
on
years, right? Like exactly.
informative years. Yeah, so
Right.
that was a gift
We
in and of itself.
right.
And
It's
that
crazy.
is the foundations of a good friendship, right? When I was traveling around here for 10 years, people didn't even know if I was alive sometimes 10, 12 months of the year. And suddenly I'll pop up and there was no questions asked. It was
Mhm.
like we took on the conversations from where we last spoke, might have been 12 months, might have been 2 years, and no explanations. Why haven't you been in touch? And none of that stuff. Just the conversations went on. And that's, I think, true friends.
Yeah.
Um, you shouldn't have to explain to each other, right? And that
Right.
goes even into a relationship. That trust shouldn't have to explain or make excuses or anything like that. So
Mhm.
I think that's quite profound. And then, of course, besides the writing, you did so much with your co-founder, collectively you founded the Six Poets Society, and then you run so many shows on Instagram and things like that as well. So yeah. But what drove the Six Poets Society? Was it to open up the community within your areas, or?
Yeah.
You want to take this one, or you want me to go?
Sure. I'll take it. So, it kind of was sparked, the interest in it, the interest in the whole idea was sparked during COVID when we started the show. And then once things started to open up, it was like, wait a minute here. This can be something we do in person, right? And at that time, there was a lot of other things happening adjacent to what we were doing that created a perfect environment for us to just dive right in and have a place and a stage to do these kinds of things because Ramon's younger brother had like kind of an entertainment company kind of thing he was putting together. So we were able to say, okay, we can attach this to that and build that out. And it came up from one of those nights we were having one of those entertainment nights. I think it was like a games night or something like that. And Ram was like, "Yeah, we'll do a couple pieces and stuff. You want to come through?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, I'll come through. Say less." So we went out there, and that night we were having a conversation, and we were like, "Hey, you know what? Now that we're on road, I love this. I love how this felt. Let's do more of this." And Ram was like, "Yeah, there's a lot of people out there in the local community, and we need to do this and da 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 da." He's like, "Yeah, we should need to start a group and da da." I'm like, he goes, "Yeah, let's do that." I'm like, "Let's do it." And he's like, "Well, we need a name," and I was like, six something," and he's like, "Six Poets," and I was like, "Six Poet Society." He's like, "Done," and that was it. It was like tennis, bomb, bomb, bomb,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
was yeah,
It's funny how things flow and fall into place when it's meant to be, isn't it?
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
sometimes you feel you can try to get far to distant shores by swimming and against the tide, and you get nowhere. You don't even know where you're going. And then other times you put it out there and it all falls into place so smoothly. So tell me a bit more about this Poet Society. Is it still very active? Membership? Are you still got regular meets, or how does it work?
Yes. We had a little bit of a hiatus because um, venues and how how Toronto is situated. There's like six boroughs, right? Main boroughs, which is why it's called the six,
Mhm.
and they're not close to each other by any means. So it's hard to get everyone. And my whole plan was to make sure that I have poets in every borough, have poets in every city, every little area, so that we can eventually start having shows in every city, in every borough.
Mhm.
Um, but because of my background and when I used to dance and events, I have a lot of spaces that are kind of central in the sense of it's like a 30-40 minute drive
Mhm.
from for everybody.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot of people don't want to do that trek sometimes, which is understandable. So um, I didn't we didn't do much of the in person until recently when I was like, okay, I need to get back
Mhm.
into this. I need to start throwing these things. And so far, since I said, yeah, we need to get back, we've been doing one a month,
Yeah.
one big show a month, and yeah, as Kheneil said, it was, and as you kind of alluded to, Rainier, it was definitely trying to get the community involved.
Mhm.
Being online and meeting so many poets that are in my city through COVID, and I'm like, you live where? Oh, like 20 minutes away from me? Really?
Mm.
Yeah.
You live an hour away from me? Okay, cool. So that's how it started. And the first one that we did, I remember it was like, okay, PPPs lives in Toronto.
Mhm.
LG lives just outside of Toronto. You know, um,
Marianne.
Marianne,
Mhm.
Renaria,
Daria.
a lot of these people live just outside of the base. I was like, oh, let's do a show.
Mhm.
Let's come together, do a show, and everyone showed up. And I was
Mhm.
like, because everyone was itching, right? We were locked down in COVID, and we're all online, and we're like, oh, is this person going to be the same in person
Yeah.
as in online?
Yeah.
And we all came together. We had drinks, we laughed, we joked, we had poetry in
Mhm.
live. It was amazing. So then it
Great
just
feeling.
continued.
Yeah.
It just continued. So the whole idea is writing workshops in person, open mics in person, and then featured presentations in person,
Yeah.
feature poets in person. And you know, it, it's all about an experience because we're well versed in so many different things. Um, he said my younger brother has a entertainment company which we just tagged on. So now we're under the umbrella of that entertainment company. Built a business behind it, registered it, and then said, okay, this may be open showcase. So you might have open mics, you might have singers, you might have things. So eventually it just blossomed into not just poets but art.
Yeah.
Um, right. So that's where it's at right now, and we're just making the connections.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, we all still have our 9 to 5s.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
all still are working, but we're making the connections. I plan to have some sort of retreat in Toronto very soon. Maybe next year sometime I want to have a massive retreat here where all these poets from all over can come and just have a feature. Um, maybe get a massive Airbnb, get all the poets and have a writing workshop retreat weekend or something of the sort, right? Um, there's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot that I have planned. But the whole point is that there's poetry and it's a conglomerate of creatives that have the same passion, and I just want to grow. And that's all I want. If anything, they say Six Poet Society is a bunch of poets that love poetry, love the arts, and always made sure that the iron was sharpening the iron.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's also, there's also Nathan, Katarina. There's quite a few, right?
Oh, and
Wandata, so Fiona. There is so many out here. We even have some poet laureates in the city that we're hoping to connect with soon as well. So quite a lot of things going on. You know, Desiree is another lady like on the rise that we've had an opportunity to rub shoulders with. So
right.
there's so much coming our way. So much
There's
things for
Kelly,
people to look forward to.
Kelly McAllister.
Kelly, Kelly McAllister as well. She's part of Six Point
Yeah.
Society. So
Yeah.
the roster is it's growing. It's
Yeah,
powerful. It's strong. It's
and these are
passionate.
all heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Heavy hitters.
These are all
Well,
heavy
a
hitters.
a lot of the name like Kelly, LG, PPP. Yeah, you're right. There's some big names there. So yeah, some and amazing poets in their own right. Each of them too. You could
Absolutely.
listen to any of their pieces and fall in love with their work. The I got to commend the energy that you two put in because Kheneil, I know you've got young kids and Ram, you've got family commitments and just life and work and so forth. And all this takes time, even organizing an event like a retreat. Very similar to JC and Deep and so forth too, like organizing those. Like Deep's got a tribe of kids and things like that, and they still find the energy to do this and highly commendable, for your efforts. My only ask would be if you're organising in one in Canada, can you do it in your summer months? Because minus 40 degrees doesn't thrill an Australian to venture out that part of the world at minus 40 degrees. That's where we stick the Eskimos, man. We don't, that's inhuman.
No, no, I want snow, and Canada is the best place to have it because y'all have that North Pole type of snow.
Okay,
When you're thinking
Gemini,
about
you're
yourself,
the
you didn't
only
even
one.
ask.
No, you
No,
don't.
You're
but
the
he didn't even.
You don't have gem. You don't want north. You don't want North Pole snow. Like that's inhabitability. Okay, we're habitable over here. Okay.
I
No, like
know, but
yeah,
like,
I understand both. We could do two, right? We were bouncing around the idea of having, you know, so, riding under Northern Lights kind of a thing. So we do something up north. We could do
absolutely.
something, we can do something in the summer, because I know for a fact I love a summer thing, right?
I would love a
Uh,
summer thing.
I would love a
Poetry in the
summer
park,
vibe, poetry in the
outdoors.
park, outdoors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he didn't even ask for anybody else's opinion. He's like, could y'all do it in
No,
the
we,
summer?
we
Like,
don't do
dude,
snow, Gemini, and I understand. I understand, but I'm Jamaican.
We're
Very, very Jamaican, and we don't do snow very well. Um, at
not
all.
fans of snow.
No.
Even me, been here 30 plus years, I don't like it. I know how to dress for it. I know how to dress for the weather. I've lived here long enough to know that, but I'm just not into it at all. But there are people who enjoy the winter, and some people who want to experience it. So I'm sure we can have a poetry event for every season, really.
I'm just saying, he didn't even ask. He just jumped to like what he wanted.
Oh no,
Gemini.
no, no. We didn't jump to it. He suggested and we accepted, and it's going to be in the works either way. So don't worry about it. Yeah.
You know, sometimes I just can't do anything right. Here I was thinking she lives in tropical Florida. She's going to turn into a popsicle if she gets out to Canadian winter. Here's me thinking of her welfare, and straight away
My
I'm self-centered.
welfare. Do you realize I'm melting down here and not the right parts? Like, if this is something off the side, if something was melting off the side, I would be fine. But here I am looking like Clayface. Here I'm looking like Clayface because everything is melting. It's all the wrong things. All the wrong things.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So
I wish the technology. I wish the technology existed for selective melting one day. You know.
I would love that because all I want to do is melt and remold, baby. Melt and remold. Take it off the side, put in the back. Take it off the side, put in the back.
I hear
That's
you.
it. I'm not asking for much.
I think our guests wanted to see your camera on. I think Gemini, but you know.
No.
We gotta work with her level of comfortability.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
I mean, you got to work with our level of community. I just,
Ram,
We're
Ram, be nice. I'm Caribbean. Be nice.
it's okay.
now
So,
she's pulling that trump
so
card. Jeez.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Caribbeans are raised with tough love, so yeah, it's not a be nice kind of thing.
no,
We-
but your mother always say you don't go out the house when you're not respectable. And right now I am
Right.
not respectable.
okay,
That's okay.
I get it. I get it. I understand
This
that.
is going to be broadcasted internationally for God's sakes. I mean, really, have a heart.
Hmm. Don't worry,
I
no pressures.
Oh, lies,
Again,
lies.
Gemini, I said it in the part that the part of the live that died. I really do appreciate you coming on. I know you're not really well, and this show would not have been the same without you here. You know, like so. Really appreciate your efforts in coming on. So
Yeah, there's no one to pick on. There will be no one to pick on.
I'm always there. I get picked. I'm the one who gets picked on. So you
Oh
know.
no, roll the tape back, everybody. Roll the tape back. If you're just coming in, don't listen to that man or what he says. You see, you probably did not save the other live that ended, did you? Because that's why he attacked me at the beginning of the other live that ended. And you probably ended it yourself to remove the evidence. Anyway, the people that were here know. Celine knows. Celine was here. She's a witness.
Clem, what do you say? It was a convenient inconvenience.
It was a convenient inconvenience. They only benefited him. Now I have no evidence that he harassed me at the beginning of the doggone live.
Oh,
She didn't even stop for a breath there, did she?
I
She just
know,
went.
right? Right on the breath there, Jam. Take it easy. You're having problems breathing, remember?
No, because if I pause for a moment, he's going to try to refute the evidence.
mm. Don't worry, Jim.
Actually,
We all believe you.
you just made a valid point there, Gemini. While you were speaking or berating me or attacking me, I was thinking, I'm not sure if that live's even going to be in the archive. So, Ram, at the start, we spoke about your book. So maybe let's replay some of that. If people hear it twice,
Sure.
good luck to it, right? Because I'm not sure if that part of that live would even be in the archive. So,
It does. It will be in your archive, but I will still talk because then if
yeah,
anyone is coming, it's brand new.
yeah.
Yes, we spoke about this that is out now. This Heart Has Eyes. It's my first poetry collection. Um, it's available through me on my website. If you want it, DM me or go on the website. We spoke about it being published by a micropest, Kusa Books, which is I just say if y'all need a publisher that cares, that is detail oriented, and I said a lot more on the first one. Just understood the vision, understand the importance of my vision, and they're also writers and creatives,
Hmm.
which is super important. Um, and they just love the arts. You couldn't ask for anything else in a publisher, right? So, shout out to Kusa Books. Shout out to
Hmm.
my cover artist, Radiant, who's also an amazing artist and
Poet.
creative. Just this is a this is a deep um a deep entry into my my thoughts that are not so forthcoming. Um, you read this and it's you're like, is this Ram? Because there's so many different you know faces that I wear. There's so many different quotes that I put on. But this really is just a thought process of self actualization, self reflection, um, these hard questions that I end up asking self, and then in turn put it out there to ask the majority, the global majority, because these are some of the things that, you know, bother me,
Hmm.
and I'm sure it's not just me.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot of things that there you go. DM Jolene, she works with Kusa Books.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Like I I had the honor of writing the foreword for his book, and even working with them with Kusa Books on that, like getting me involved with them and working with them, and it was an absolute joy. Like the level of care and attention to detail, and you can tell that they have a passion not only for the writer, but the work itself and the essence of poetry, right? So they have a full understanding and a passion for it themselves. So they pour into that, and so that it comes through in the work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, Torin. Torin wants me to mention the nutrient density. I
Yeah.
am not a long form poet, as most of y'all know. Um, my things usually have to aesthetically hold on one page. That's just how I am. I've always been like that. So no wasted words.
No wasted
Nutrient dense
words.
requires you to really read it twice, thrice, sometimes, and
Mhm.
pick apart different pieces. So he calls myself nutrient dense, as I call his. So it is nutrient dense poetry. Um, it is for everyone, but it's not for everyone.
Right. And it's more than just self-reflection in the book. There's self-projection actually, that's a really
Mhm.
cool thing that happens with this book too. So you want to kind of get to know Ram on a different level, you read the book.
So, should put your website details in the comments there, Ram. And also, I will DM you. I didn't realize that I couldn't get it through Amazon. So, because I haven't got a copy of your book yet, so I'll definitely DM you and wait for the snail mail to get here. But I'll touch base with you offline.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
Kheneil,
yes.
is there a book plan from Mr. Black?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a book plan number two actually. So my first book I published a long, long time ago. 2011, I think. A long time ago. Didn't know what I was doing. I just kind of like Googled the publishers, like publishing houses in Canada or North America. Picked one. I saw they had a deal and just published. So it was one of my first works. It's obviously, I would say maybe juvenile. It was like my first real foray into poetry, and this was really a collection of things that I was writing during college, um, and just a little bit shortly after as well. So that was kind of like my early works, very early. It's called My Black Book Volume One, and that's on and on it'll be on Amazon. right? And all the other online outlets there. I believe there's an e-book version and a hard copy version.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't really push it much. Um, but I'm actually thinking of doing maybe a re-release for the first one and then releasing my second one.
Yeah, nice.
And more than likely I'll be going to Kusa Books to get my second book sorted out.
Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations on that. I didn't even realize that you had a book out because, as you said, you never pushed it. I wasn't aware. So there you go. My new lesson today. Ram, one piece of yours I see quite a few pieces and I hear some of your recitals, and there's not one that doesn't grab me. But one that I'll never forget is that one you wrote about the Texas massacre. That one sticks in my head for some reason. I think that really shows the compassionate side of you, the moralistic side of you. And folks, Aram put his website in there, www.ramoncarty.com. Do go and check that out, and check his books out. I'm sure most of you are well versed with Ram's work and Kheneil's work. So do go and check the check that website out, and support Ram and Kheneil. You'd have to get some details on yours, or if you got the re-release coming on there too, man. Because
Don't
again,
worry,
with your work too.
I'm just gonna make sure that this comes out
Yeah,
post haste.
yeah, we'll get it sorted. We get it
You want
sorted.
an accountability partner? Don't worry, we got you.
All righty.
Because as we were saying before, you both got very different styles, but each bringing a very authentic side to life, to poetry, to the meaning of life, to what as individuals, you bringing that authenticity is one of the things that I really gel with you guys on. There's no superficialities at all in either of your personas, and yeah. Uh, how about you guys take it in turn and share some? You can whoever wants to go first, or Gemini. Would you prefer? Who would you like to hear first, Gemini?
Let me see. Who was the last person to betray me?
I don't betray people, so it definitely wouldn't be.
I feel like I'm sitting around the Last Supper table there. Who betrayed me last?
That was Rainier. So no, the two of you decide who goes first because Rainier was the last person to go ahead and stick the knife in.
Wow. I have a piece that I actually was looking for, and I found it. It was a piece that I wrote specifically for an event that Ram invited me to and connected me with. One of Canada's more famous people, Farley Flex. He is one of the hosts, or sorry, judges on Canadian Idol. He was a judge on Canadian Idol. He was also, I don't know if anybody knows like Maestro Fresh West. He's a Canadian rapper as well. He was his manager as well. So Ram was able to connect me with him and invited me to do some reading and some talking to some kids in some schools. And one, yeah, some youths, some kids that were not
Actually,
showing their
let's
potential. Yeah, but
talk
it was
about
cool.
that and that's a little bit, Kheneil, before you go into the
Yeah,
poetry. We got invited to a school of a school of some grade nines and grade tens, um, kids that are skip school and they just weren't really into the whole school thing and just
yeah,
we were invited to just have a conversation during their lunchtime and you know, really just tell them, hey, we've all been there.
get it together.
We know
Mhm.
what it's like and what not following through
Hmm.
can get to you, and how you can just buckle up and do
Yeah.
these things. So that was what that's what Kheneil was talking about.
Yeah.
So we went to the school on a lunchtime, and we
Hmm.
did some poetry and conversation. So that's what
So
it
it was
was.
cool because they were leaders. They were leaders, socially speaking, but
Right.
making a lot of the wrong choices, right? And so leading others to make wrong choices. So Farley Flex has an association that deals with these kinds of kids and that kind of thing. And he invited us to do this, right? So it was cool. Um, so what I will do, I'll go first. We normally normally whenever we're on our show, I normally go first, then Ram goes after. So uh, I'll take it away as form fits. So this piece I wrote is called "The Writing on the Walls." It goes like this: In these halls and between these walls, you can learn without the loss. In these halls and between these walls, you can grow without the cost. You have graduated from crawling on your stomach and consuming what you are fed. You make sure of this time in your creative chrysalis to nourish the courage in your head. If you don't feel like you are ready to fly yet, it's okay. Your wings are on their way. Soon the sky won't be your limit. The clouds will part, revealing your potential and everything in it. Outside of these walls and without these halls to learn, you must fall, just to get up again. Outside of these walls and without these halls, to win, you have to pay for everything. Take this time to idolize the smile in the mirror. Use these moments to praise yourself. Don't doubt your intellect because you don't know what you don't know. Knowing is half the battle, and giving yourself knowledge and the space to grow. Access the planet's wisdom in your palms without a qualm of missing your flight. In these halls and between these walls, you can learn without the loss. And in these halls and between these walls, you can grow without the cost. You have the strength to rise above the haters. Let your hustle become your muscles and exercise your rights and freedoms to fight for what you believe in. Find your beauty inside and don't hide behind your pride and be vulnerable because courage is found when your truth becomes the ground you stand on. Outside of these walls and without these halls, to learn you must fall just to get up again. Outside of these walls and without these halls, to win you have to pay for everything. Take this opportunity to find your heroes, and in turn you can become your own. Whether you intend to plan every step or freestyle your life to the fullest, understand it's all yours to mold, create, and sculpt. So be bold. Win, lose, or draw, you are the architect of your dreams and the worst nightmares. Failure should not be a fear. Instead, use it to fuel the flames of victory that light your way to greatness. So please rise and repeat after me. I am smart. I am strong. I am brave. I am beautiful. I love myself. I love my life. I love my family, and I will achieve greatness. Within the hallway of heroes and without. So that piece there we wrote because and I put the hallway of heroes part right at the end because they had a section of a hallway that wasn't really being used in the school that they were going to give to these kids to get them to create something, right? Write some things, do artwork of their heroes and whatnot. So this was like my kind of thing to give them a message to work with and to hope that it inspires them to do some things. So Ram and I intend to reach out to Farley sometime this year and get maybe do a follow-up or an update or something like that to see what's come of those kids, right? But yeah, it was an honor actually and a privilege to do that.
I was going to say exactly, it took the words out of my mouth. I mean, it is a great honor to be invited to come and do something like that. And I always look as the young adolescents and all, they're the future of the nations, right? they're what we leave behind when we leave. So whatever we can give them through our lessons, I'm all for it. And even through the years when I was regularly teaching different martial arts and so forth, working with some of the street kids, and you lose some, but every one that you turned off the street, just the rewards is priceless. It really is. I'm all for working with kids, and matter of fact, I'm struggling right now. I have been these last 2 or 3 weeks because a young man who shares the same birthday as my own son, except he is 1 year older, he took his life, and I've got to go up for his funeral on I'm leaving late today or early tomorrow. It's about a 6 hour drive. His funeral's on Monday, and he was 28. And I've been struggling. I've been gutted. I've been rolling on the carpet, crying my heart out. And so hearing that piece, and Kheneil, I love the way you wrote that, in the sense that, yes, you wrote it for these a certain group of kids on invitation, but I could see your children reading that, and there's so many lines there that, like a father talking to a child, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. That's how I wrote it.
Yeah,
That was the inspiration.
looking
Yeah,
in the mirror, like, and within these walls, from crawling to adulthood, there's no price. You don't, it's given through the love of your parents, but outside there is a price,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean, seeing my children, it was being a father for that particular event. To me was such a boon and a value because I had that perspective, right, to watch and see, a tiny human being like learning and growing and being in the confines and the safety of the
Mm,
home, right, and me
mm,
thinking back to myself and like, oh, I've moved out of the house now, you know, all these things. You have to make mistakes for you to kind of figure out what's going on, right? And when you're doing that outside of the walls and the protective space of a school or your parents' house or whatever, what
mm,
have you,
mm,
it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, you pay for everything dearly in some cases, right? But having that ability to be within the confines and safety of somewhere that's going to take
mm,
care of you, it's definitely, a lot of people don't understand that benefit until they don't have it, right? So
mm.
yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Some don't have it right from birth, right?
Mhm.
You know. Um,
That
and
was an amazing.
sorry, Gemini.
I was just saying that was an amazing piece. Like Rainier said, I could see it. I could see your children listening to it and finding some type of comfort in there, and
Mhm.
it was encouraging.
Mhm.
So hopefully the young people you shared it with viewed it as encouraging, if not at that time, but later on, because some things just kind of stick with you. They may have been
Mhm.
resistant when you shared it, but I'm sure something stuck.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I hope so too. And like even the very end, where when I told them to rise and repeat after me, those affirmations there, those are affirmations that I have my children say every night before they go to sleep, right? Both
Yeah.
of them. So I made sure to include that in there too.
Yeah. Man, that was very cleverly done, and so many lines that, as Gemini said, that you suddenly pop to mind as you encounter something in your day, right? That's
Yeah, and I
beautiful.
made sure
Man.
I sent it to Ram a couple times before actually like finishing it up, right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that I'm going to go on stage with, or he and I are working on together as far as us presenting ourselves as a package kind of thing.
Hmm.
A lot of times I'll make sure he sees it and says, what do you think of this? And he's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I trust his word 100% because he understands me. He knows how I am,
Yeah.
what I am, and how I write, right? He understands my writing style. So that's why, yeah, I have no qualms about it saying, hey, yo, take a look at this. What do you think? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Loved it. Ram.
Your turn,
Yes,
Ram.
sir. My turn.
Right?
Now, I don't know how to follow that. Um,
You don't
uh,
gotta follow. You just lead. You just lead your way. You don't gotta follow me. You see that? Yo, you see that look?
Yep.
That look, yo, Gweno. That was.
I can't wait to
he
see
knew what
these
I,
collabs, man.
he knew what I look meant. Um, um, I'll do this piece. It's my most recent spoken piece that I posted.
Nice.
The greatest tragedy of existence is being a poet. Singing. Start that over. I'm sorry. One more time. Here we go. The greatest tragedy of existence is being a poet, singing through the shards of familiarity, rewriting yesterday in futility. What's the use in dreaming when failure is steeped deep in the stars, toted in between the margins of this mead composition book? Tomorrow is a mirage, diminishing poem by poem, but the urge to prepare an oasis of revival is sordid. An irrational lust for meaning by watering barren pages with ink stained tears. A maestro stuck waving a baton to a silent symphony. There's no consolation in pretense, just another dissonant display, dense, didactic, deceitful. The greatest tragedy of existence is being a poet, a vagabond's crown of thorns, this bleeding gift of verse.
A
Poem.
vagabond. Go ahead and repeat that again. A vagabond crowd of thorns.
A
Yes.
vagabond crown of thorns. Yeah,
Cheese and bread, man.
that's so dope. So dope. My favorite thing about Ram's poetry is like like many have said, there's like so much. There's no wasted words, but it's not only is there no wasted words, but it's the word choices that he uses, where he uses words in a way that are like obtuse. Like most people don't think about using that word. Like he uses words for different angles where you're like, whoa, it's like when you see a fighter in a ring that fights very unorthodox, right? And they're fighting all over the place and they're doing all these weird moves and people just can't adapt to it, right? It's very similar to like some of the champions out there, Izzy Adesanya and like some of these guys out in the UFC world. They attack at different angles that people just can't fathom. They can't get used to it. They can't find the rhythm. That's how Ram uses his words. Like they come at you some crazy angles, and sometimes he uses words that people are like, "Wait, what?" Like even me, even to this day, he'll use a word, and I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" Okay, all right, let me go find what that. And then I see it, and it just adds so much more flavor to the poem that was already full of flavor. So it's like, yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Word choice is wild. Didacted, deducted. I mean, case in point. Case in point.
Those first three lines itself got me like the greatest tragedy of existence is being a poet. And then the third line, rewriting yesterday in terms of what was the end of that?
In futility.
In futility. Man, I mean, yeah, the looking glass only shows us what's transpired, right? And we always it's funny how the futile parts chapters in our life is what sticks. The good just we forget about, don't we?
Yeah, big time.
Because
Big time.
why is that? Is that because we don't pause to give gratitude for the little things that happen, or is it because there was no the value of the lesson was in the futile parts of our lives? Is that why it sticks? I don't know.
And these are the questions I ask myself when I write.
Yeah.
And I think humanity's wired to remember bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Humanity's wired to, no matter how much good has happened and has transpired, the one thing that we
Mm-hmm.
hold on to is the negativity.
Yeah.
And we can't help it unless we
No.
rewire the thought process and like think positive. You can tell people to think positively and do
You
all
got
these things.
unlearn.
You gotta unlearn
Mm.
these things, and this is part of the healing process, because we were brought up like that. We're
Mm-hmm.
scolded for doing something bad. You remember that,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't do it again, right?
Right.
It was the scolding that caused the memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are now scolded for doing this, so you're going to remember that. You did a good job. You may get a good job. There you go. Whatever. It just
Mm-hmm.
rolls off the back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So and it's so healthy to really just sit back and just I mean, there's so many things that I wanted to achieve already in
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm.
So many things.
Mm-hmm.
And if I sit and just worry and wonder, it's like, oh, I could have done this, I should have done that, I should have, then I'm not living
Mm.
because
Mm.
we're thinking about past.
Yeah.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing, though. The reason why we remember the bad, it's because it's survival. You
Exactly.
you try
I'm
not to repeat the bad, but the thing that about healing that you're referring to, we get stuck in a loop. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, even though we do not want the negative results of our actions, we continue to do the same action, or we don't do anything to prevent it because we're kind of stuck.
right.
Mm. Mm.
Absolutely true. Like it's our lizard brain survival mode that keeps us saying, "Hey, okay, so this is what happened last time. I'll make sure I don't do it again because so it's for survival. It's basically for survival's sake." But we live in a time now where we live in a time and a place, I should say, as well, because some people don't live in those kinds of places where you know you can take some time and be gratuitous for the things that you have and say, okay, and that becomes the thing, the waypoint, a moment of gratitude. You can choose, once you unlearn, you know,
Mm.
choosing the bad moments as waypoints for lessons, right? Learned. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Most
I
definitely.
always found not necessarily the right way, the good things because I guess I've expected it, it's been inherent and it's happened. Whereas the lessons seem to stick there, the hard parts, because that's where the lessons came from. So they seem to stick in my head.
Mhm.
The other line that really grabbed me there was mirages of tomorrow, something, something, it went decay.
Um, Tomorrow is a mirage diminishing poem by poem.
Yes.
So good.
That's the other thing too, right? We traverse 10 steps and we remember some bad parts there, and then we go straight to tomorrow.
Right.
How about the here and now?
present. I
Yeah.
Yep.
am all for the present. As a people leader, as something I
Mhm.
preach all the time. Like tomorrow is promised to no one.
Yeah.
Nobody.
What happened yesterday is gone.
Mhm.
What can I do today?
Yeah.
Every day is a new slate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Every day it's fresh, clean. You can forget about the mistake you made. Now, what am I going to do moving next
Mhm.
today?
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
that's the importance. And that's kind of how I try to like people. It's funny because even like my close friends know this of me. I am not a huge planner. I don't plan.
Mhm.
Um, especially when we're like events and stuff like that, because I work off vibe.
Vibe.
I work
Mhm.
off the now. I could
Mhm.
plan like certain things I'll plan for, of course, like a vacation and stuff like that. Of course, that's a little different because that requires like extra funds and like travel and stuff like this. But like, hey man, this weekend or 2 weekends from now, we are gonna be going to this event at this time. Yeah, talk to me 2 days before.
Yeah.
Talk to me the
Yeah.
day before.
Mhm.
Because I might say yes now, and 2 days from now, I'm like, not feeling it at all.
Mhm.
Because if the energy's not there at that moment,
Yeah.
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 It's not good. It's not good.
and that's why I also write every day
Mm.
Mhm.
because it's my journaling.
Mhm.
Um, it is what's happened today. Where's my thoughts today?
Mhm.
Where are my thoughts today? What is it saying to me? I
Mhm.
learned a lot about myself still writing.
Mhm.
Mm.
Um, you know, it's a constant learning and relearning and unlearning and trying different things. Like this didn't work yesterday. Today I'm gonna try something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I
Yeah.
don't even care what happens tomorrow because if this works today, it works today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is another day. I don't know what's gonna come tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm doing this today, and that's the modus operandi
Mhm.
for me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's
Yeah.
just it.
Ram lives life like jazz. Just in the moment, on the curve, just moving,
Yeah,
moving
yeah,
through.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's, that's a good way to put it. Um, Miss Betty popped a question. Has Ram got a doctorate in language?
Honorarily, probably. You could
So
get one. I think
so
it'd be easy for you.
so I'll be really really candid and honest here. My mom is huge English. Like she she's all like English. My dad is an accountant. My dad is my math guy. My mom's
Mhm.
the English
English.
lady. Um, I went to a preparatory school in Jamaica,
Mhm.
super British Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Um, my aunt was
Mhm.
a teacher at said school.
Mhm.
My older brother also went to that school. I was expected to perform and excel.
Yeah. He didn't have a choice.
I did not have a choice.
Yeah.
So I was placed in so many different activities, majority academia.
Mhm.
Um, Also, there's no way I'm coming home with bad grades and
No.
get my ass beat. It's
Yeah.
not.
No.
It's just not a thing. It's not a
No
thing.
thanks.
It's not a thing. Not because not only because just such a West Indian thing or a Caribbean thing. My aunt also taught at that school,
Yeah.
so the
Yeah.
news will get to her before it get anywhere, and then it's like, so no, I could not. So I nerded out.
Yeah.
I nerded out. I was in spelling bee. I was in a bunch of different things. Drama,
Hmm.
arts, because of language and theater and expression. Um, I've been doing spoken word, reciting pieces since I was like, 6, 7 on stage. I've been trying to remember things, right? And then going upstage and doing it.
Hmm.
Um, so when it comes to the language part of it, when I moved out of prep school into high school, I took up literature.
Yeah.
I took up language. I took up English. I focused on debates. I went into a debate team. I went into all this. So I read. I read a lot. I
Hmm.
started out, and then that was one thing my dad always like, you're like, oh, you want a toy? I never cared for toys. I loved the books. Um, I loved books. That was it. So I was big on, and I think I've said this before. I was big on like the mystery series growing up. The Hardy Boys, the Nancy Drew, the stuff like that. And then moving forward, I went into like, okay, well, I learned Shakespeare, so let me read that. And then um, the era of man, like thinking back of in like that early age, then it was Y2K.
Hmm.
I was 16, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna search everything because I need to know.
Hmm.
So then that era of learning and trying to figure out, okay, what did this mean, got me to fall in love with the poetry because I'm like, there's so many ways to say something, and
Yeah.
I'm so used to that's just straight to Shakespeare. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And in school, we had to read some really
Hardcore books.
thematic thematic books, like as part of the curriculum.
Mm.
Um, the whole Tom Sawyer, the To Kill a Mockingbird, the Clockwork Orange, the all those things forged this person
Mm.
who Ram became because I was always picking up a dictionary.
Hmm.
And when you pick up a dictionary for like you're reading and you're just picking up dictionary, then this is in your head. You're reading the dictionary now for like fun, So
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of the language and I'm a huge fan of saying things different ways because
Yeah.
it will stick. If I say the same thing over and over and you don't get it, if I say it a different way, it's going to force you to pick up a dictionary, force you to try and decipher what the hell did he just say. I am really good at telling someone off very intelligently.
Yeah.
I'm really good at it. Really good at it. I can tell you about yourself so creatively, you would be like, oh, and then you go and you're like, did this guy just cuss me off? Absolutely did. You just didn't know. Think about it, right? Kenny Black
Wait,
said, no, it's just wit.
I'm laughing because on multiple situations where, somebody's coming at him and saying all these things, and Ram would turn around and say a few things, and the person would get confused and say thanks, and then walk away, and then they'd come back the next day, hey, what did you said? Yo. And whenever that happened, it was just funny. We would all just, he would be like, yeah, I said that. And I would look at him and be like, yeah, you got him. You got him. It was one of those things. It was just great. And when you mentioned the dictionary, right? So as far as like I wasn't forged into like academia as the same level as he was. Of course there was a high expectation being Caribbean, of course, but it was more of a it was more of an interest and kind of like a curiosity. My dad has a very big love of language, and so we would always talk, and he would always use various words. And one of the things, because I was a bad kid, like I wasn't forged in academia. I was a bad kid. I was rough and wild and into toys and just crazy imagination all over the place. Um, So whenever I got in trouble,
Says was.
one of the which was many times, one of my dad's punishments was he would give me he would pick 3 pages out of the dictionary, and he would say, "Okay, I'm going to work. These 3 pages. When I come back, you need to be able to spell, say the word, and know the meaning of any 3 words I choose from these 3 pages, or you're getting a beating." That was my punishment. So I'm like, shit. So this is how I was like, oh, look at all these words, and then it turned from punishment to, okay, well, I'm just gonna pick up the book because there's so much different things going on in here. Some words, and I'm like, what the hell is all these letters for? If this is what this means, and then there's a next word that's 4 letters and means the same damn thing, and it's like, oh wow, that's okay, that's cool, okay, okay. So it changed from being like something I wanted to avoid to something where I'm like, I started to just pick it up on my own and say, holy shit, this dictionary shit is wild. This is really cool. So yeah, we both, came out of the dictionary different ways, but we both ended up in there, right? So yeah.
I love that. I love that. What a positively affirming way of punishment. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That is very good. And Ram, you mentioned Clockwork Orange. My God, was that a classic and a half? I remember seeing that at the movie even as a teenager and reading the book. It's wow. That's really stretching the memory banks. That movie was so far ahead of its time, wasn't it?
Oh,
Fiddler on the
it's
Roof was another
also
good one.
it's fully banned now.
Eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It's a banned
yeah,
book
Yeah.
yeah.
because
Fit,
we're just banning books out there right now. Sorry,
yeah.
it's one of my pet peeves, as you can
It's
tell.
it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Words have power, but we're giving it the wrong power. Too much power in the wrong direction.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
ridiculous.
Don't get me
Yeah.
started. Sorry, I just had to give my 2 cents on that.
No,
Yeah.
that's Miss Gemini. You were going to say something?
No, you know where I am. I'm in the land of the sadness.
You're in the
So
land of book banning. Book banning.
Mm,
it's more than that.
I
It's
know.
it's it's that and a safe haven for previous fearless leaders. So I don't say much on international platforms.
mm.
That's
Mhm.
what a man with a small mindset is very petty. So I don't want to be the focus of his anger.
Mm.
Mm.
And a man with a small mindset is a dangerous thing.
Yes, that's why when I say petty, that's what I mean. Because if you can say
Mm.
that you can kill someone in the middle of Times Square and get away with it, that means you've done it before. That's why you believe it, and you're acting like you have. So,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
about bravery at this point. It's about preservation and thinking smart, wisely about how to move forward.
100%. 100%.
Love to go to another piece, Mr. Kheneil. But before you go there, are you guys familiar with Mindful Warriors Way? Michelle Desange Johal. She's from Vancouver area. We've actually featured her on one of the early shows. Um, Amazing poetess, amazing writer, and an absolutely lovely person. Yeah, I know it's the other end of town from you guys, but in Toronto to Vancouver. But yeah, if you're not familiar with her work, man, just check her work out. Amazing lady.
What? Say the thing again. I'm gonna look her up right now.
It's mindful, mindful.warriors.way.
Mm.
Michelle Sands Johal.
Mindful Warrior. I see Mindful Warrior, and then mindful dot warrior
Mindful.warriors.way.
dot warriors dot way.
Yeah. She was on one of our very early episodes, but yeah, amazing writer from your neck of the woods, albeit Vancouver's a long way from you guys, right?
It wouldn't be our neck of the woods. It would be on the fingertips.
You left that open. You left that open right here. Kheneil is a corny.
I did.
Listen, I'm more than corny. I'm on the cob. Okay, listen.
There we go. I told you, like, now we're on it.
Uh,
It's too good. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll do. She mentioned do another piece. Let me. I'm gonna show. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna read a short one. From like the earlier days. Yeah, the earlier days of being on the Instagram, like Instagram poeting, basically. This one is called "Lost in Riot." In a rice grain of optimism, my courage held a cracked bucket in defense to an ocean, turned careening wave of impossible fear. A cacophony of curses paints the air on a canvas woven in chaotic parchment. Tyranny is audited by the populace, recounting the bitter beans of implanted malice, unbeknownst to the offenders. The destructive glow cravenly takes root, engulfing for no other reason than being within the proximity of a collective rage. Ideals clash in hopeful rebellion against shielded pieces on the board game of a malicious system. A dangerous game played by fractured souls championing refused defeat. Knowing this is the losing side of a double-sided coin with matching faces. Valiance remains stubborn, continuing to push inward with a resolute cohesion as the intended destination remains elusive. Don't let false directions leave you wayward in your effort to be accepted. Blackout.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly. I love the metaphors. I love the imagery in that. And just like anyone who was paying attention to world news, looking at America, knows exactly what you're talking about. I love when poems can have that type of power to where it is literally unspoken. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And it's crazy because I wrote this like years ago. This was
Jesus,
3 or 4 years ago.
you
So I
kidding
mean,
me?
it's like still relevant, right?
You kidding me?
You
You
know,
did not write that about January? Oh my gosh.
no, because remember there was a lot of crazy things going on even back then, right? There was a whole thing with like Syria and Aleppo and like all kinds of crazy. Remember there was all kinds of crazy other things going on, right?
Jeez.
So I mean, Haiti was still getting ravished, right?
So
I mean,
literally,
it's a
you
lot of
you you
things.
wrote a timeless piece for fucking dictators. Sorry about the cussing. You can tell the medication is starting to take hold already.
I
Um,
don't mind. I don't mind. I cuss too. Don't worry about it. We're all adults here.
y'all know I don't cuss, so the medication is taking hold already. But you basically wrote you wrote a timeless piece for dictators, mutiny, and insurrection.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. Okay.
And then at the same time, right? It's also that message in there, like don't just follow the crowd just because it's a crowd, right?
Yeah, and you wrote it
Just
from a
follow.
first person perspective as if you were there
And
experiencing and witnessing it.
like in a riot, it's what it is. It's the noise. There's so much noise that's going on. It's riotous, right? And sometimes some people just get snowballed in a bandwagon of hate towards a certain thing, and some people dive into that and then end up losing themselves because they're following along, and all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, this person's saying these things now. They started here, but now they're over here, and I don't really feel that way, right? So now you're like, oh shit, now I'm lost in the sauce, and now I've been in this too long. How do I come out of it, right? Um, yeah.
CP, I don't think you want medicine like that. It gives you loose lips. I don't think so.
The not
Speaking,
only is that
okay, look at. Did you see their faces? Hold on, Renee, because you did not see their faces. Both of y'all. The fact that y'all are so in tune with your stuff, yeah, my damn nerves. Do not make my words into double entendres. I meant what I said.
No, no,
Vocal
you said
shit.
it. You said it.
Yes, but I saw like what y'all thought. Like both of
No,
y'all reacted the same way.
remember, Jen. Remember, we are both in love with words, and you can say so many things in so many ways by saying the same thing. You know,
hmm.
so
I
yeah,
know.
it's not a big deal. It was just good.
Mischievous.
We both catch these things, and a lot of times we speak with our eyes,
I know.
and then we talk later. Then we talk later. It's great,
I
and
saw it right
I
away.
love the fact
Y'all,
you
if
saw
y'all
it.
missed that, y'all need to go back to the replay. If y'all missed that, because you can see it instantly. And I'm like, wait a minute, let me go and say something now. Anyway, I'm sorry, Rainier, for cutting you off. Let them two giggle, and Renee, you go right ahead.
I think you boys have been told off. You've been
Yeah,
reprimanded.
yeah.
The
We put us in the corner with the dunce cap on. Remember that? A dunce cap.
what I was going to say is not only is that piece timeless, Kheneil, it's it's more prevalent as each day comes by, right?
Absolutely.
Historically we've had the Idi Amins, we've had the Fidel Castros, we've had all these people, right? But there's always more, and there's more spawning out. Now they almost do it in uh, they think it's covert, but they do it in an overt manner under the
Mhm.
guise of covertness. That's the difference.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
That's
not so
and
much in
that's
your face
more,
like it used to be.
yeah. Like Idi Amin, I mean, the guy was blatant. He was out there. This is me.
Yeah,
This is what I'm
yeah,
doing, right?
yeah,
The Khmer Rouge in Cambodia, right?
yeah.
There were piles bigger than a human, like 20-foot high mounds of human skeletons just outside the town, just to show
Yep.
an example. Today, you can still find some of those, but you go dig in the soil in anywhere just out of the towns in Cambodia, you find human bones, right?
Yep.
They were blatant. They were out there. This is us. This is what we're doing. Fuck the
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
right? But now you've got the people who are doing it under the so-called guise of covertness, but it's so blatant it's actually in your face.
It's still.
Yeah, and so that timeless pieces are great, but that this is becoming more relevant with each passing day.
Well, yeah,
All this
man.
stuff
Thank
at
you
the
so much.
Gaza Strip, at the moment that's going on. That's been going on for hundreds of years.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. It's a tragedy. It's
Yeah.
wild. It's wild.
Amazing piece, man. Amazing piece. Now, we were talking before about how Ram can say so much in a few words. In that short piece, you said a hell of a lot there, brother.
Right.
You said a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Let him know,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
It's funny because you picked that piece, Kheneil,
Hmm.
and I picked at least I don't know if it's necessarily on the same wave, but it's not as Ramesque
Hmm.
in the way that y'all are expecting. I think this was a Mosaic, right?
Mm.
Hmm.
But the prompt was, "Is it ever only once?"
Oh shit!
It's so
I'm
funny.
sorry.
I
It's
remember
so
that
funny.
one. I
So
love that one.
that's so funny. Yeah, I remember yours, Gemini. Yeah. Um, Here we go. And this is the other side of Ram.
Hmm.
Knees on necks. of the restrained, arms up, unarmed killings, systematic erasure, redacted savagery, bludgeoning of minorities shot while black, murdered while asleep, slaughtered while indigenous, scot free while racist, slap on the wrists while privileged. History hasn't been ours to tell. Life under the ruling of segregationists has long been a fairy tale. Once upon a time, we all mattered less. Consult Willie Lynch. Consult Joshua Ward. Ask modern day US of A, has it only ever been once? Poem.
Dude, still hits the same way. Still hits the same way. Love that piece. And I love the prompt. Man, just everybody in the live just took that prompt and just ran with it. But I love your take on it.
Yeah, big time. Big time. Absolutely.
Powerful, yes. And the last line couldn't be better.
It's
Couldn't
just
be.
history.
Yeah.
It's history. It's there. It's all there.
It's the cyclic nature. It's the savagery that is, as you said, is now covert. It is the digging up of history. Here it is. This is what happened. You're like, oh well, that was a long time ago. Is it though?
Right. Was it though? It's a living memory. That's the problem. It's a living memory.
And yes, we as a people are rising up and fighting against. We're advocating against all this. But listen, it is so hard to constantly turn on the TV. And I know media has a play in all of this, but it's so hard to be watching the news and seeing these things. It's so hard to be living in this country that is so super multicultural, where I'm rubbing shoulders with people from these same exact places that are being
terrorized,
and being in the industry that I'm in telecom, and they're trying to find ways to reach out to people in Gaza, reach out to people in Haiti, reach out to people in Congo, reach out to people in Sudan, where people on the res are still going out without running water, where these things are still happening, where I am still walking underneath streetlights because if I'm walking in the shadows, I might be picked up being fit in a description. It is still I wrote a poem the other day. I was talking and someone says, oh, you're just being dramatic. I said, listen, certain times, if I open that elevator door in certain places and it's me and a white woman, I am taking the stairs.
Facts.
And you wonder why, and it's not because I know I'm not going to do anything. But at the end of the day, it's my word against hers because of how society has caused. It is. I could be a scholar, a saint, or whatever my profession or whatever, but that's just how I run. I was taught I have 2 strikes against me from I was young.
From your born.
I'm black and I'm a man.
Yeah.
2 strikes.
Hmm.
I don't want the third.
Right.
For any reason, and I'm sorry, I'm taking over this part, but that's the kind of advocacy, and that's what I'm writing now. My second
Yeah.
book is all about this kind of stuff. It is
Hmm.
about us in the arts, and this is liberal arts.
Hmm.
The purpose, the revolution, everything behind the pen, and the revolution that I studied, and that era, it's all about stuff like this.
Hmm.
It's all about civil war. It's all about rights. It's all about
Hmm.
inclusion. It's all about
Yeah.
unification. It's all about
Yeah.
solidarity. That's where I'm at right now. So if y'all want to know the journey I'm on, and if things are, if certain things you can tell bother me, this is one of
Hmm.
them.
Big
This
time.
is a huge one, and it's gonna bother me until it's
Yeah.
eradicated. It might not be in my life cycle, right? It might not be, but these books that I'm gonna put out, we'll talk about it.
Mm,
Fire.
mm,
Some fire's getting set. Fire's getting set because it's wild, right? It's like Ram was saying, the whole 2 strikes against you. Um, that whole scenario he painted with a lady in the elevator. More than just the possibility of getting in trouble. It's like, well, you being there will make them feel uncomfortable. That in and of itself is a problem.
mm,
Because all we are is we're just human beings. So if 2 human beings can't coexist in an elevator, we don't know each other, but you feel uncomfortable because of a skin color, that's a big problem. And like, it may not happen as much here that it does in other places, but it still happens. It's becoming less subtle here in Canada, which is kind of crazy. We're kind of going backwards in that regard.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like,
racism used to
yeah,
be hella subliminal here. Racism used to be hella subliminal in
yeah.
Canada. It's
Now
not
it's just
anymore.
blatant. It's getting more and more blatant.
That's very sad to hear. I mean, for us down here, we cannot even get our heads around the whole US sort of scenario. I mean, I've even seen it with my own eyes, and I've only seen so little, but through friends and stories that I hear, even from where a young dark kid can't go jogging around his house block after dark. I mean, that's bullshit. Like I cannot in my wildest dreams begin to grasp what life is like, what it's like to live like that. Because, man, I go where I want to go, do whatever I want to do, and anybody gets in the way, well, they've got problems, right? But no one
Ahmad
does. No.
We can't do
Arbery,
that.
Ahmad
We
Arbery
can't.
was
Yeah,
running in his neighborhood in the day,
in the
Yeah,
daytime,
daylight,
broad
yeah,
daylight.
yeah,
and got shot in a shot with a shotgun
Yeah,
because
yeah.
broad daylight.
he doesn't look like he live around these areas.
Yeah.
Um,
What does it mean to look like you live somewhere? What are you talking? Like,
because
why?
the skin tone is not affluent.
Mhm.
It's crazy, and it's funny because, and there's a reason why I'm so passionate about this now at this age. I know this shit's been happening.
Yeah.
I know this. I did not understand true racism until I came to Canada.
Hmm.
I have lived in Jamaica.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or frigging motto for
Yeah.
Jamaica is out of many, one
One
people.
people. Yeah.
Mm,
I grew up with white Jamaicans, Chinese Jamaicans, Indian Jamaicans, all different skin tones, colors, growing up.
mm,
All of us never understood the concept
Hmm.
of my blackness
yeah.
until North America.
That's
Mm,
right.
mm,
Yes, there is the, shadism and
Mm-hmm.
colorism. There's certain
Hmm.
things that happen. Oh, you're light skin, you're dark skin, you're this or that. And then, yeah, whatever. There's like the nuances with that. But not understanding the true bit, it
Yeah.
didn't make sense to me.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
I made so many friends so quickly when I came here because once again, that whole
Fully
idea
accepted.
never made sense
Mhm.
until we don't.
Mhm. You
Or
don't.
we don't have it. Exactly,
Yeah.
Celine.
Mhm.
Because I'm telling you, Jamaica is also a melting pot.
It's a
It's
multicultural place.
it's super multicultural.
Yeah.
Um, some of our biggest prime ministers growing up were like Portuguese,
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Edward
yeah,
Seara,
Hmm.
um, Port- Portuguese background mix, Michael
Yep.
Manley, white,
Michael Manley,
he's
white,
under
straight white,
nationality, white.
white.
mm,
When they open their mouth, though, you know they're Jamaican.
They're
yeah,
Jamaican.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
all within a smaller confined landmass. And here you got North America
that's what
as wide as big as it comes, and there's not enough room for these multiple
Yeah.
races or colors.
Yeah.
It's
and that's what
crazy.
Yeah. And then like me.
housed a country that housed 4 million people.
Yeah,
Verse,
Yeah.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it was like it was crazy because while Ram was in Jamaica, I was here living in places where we were the only black family in a town.
Yeah.
And literally coming face to face with straight up racism and literally having to fight at a young age, grade 3, grade 4,
Mm,
right? It's it's crazy. Like I was grade 8, I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, dealing with a kid's dad
mm,
that's telling him, niggers are weak. Go beat this nigger up and show him what's going on in here. Da 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 da. And I have to beat this kid up because he's coming to fight me. And when I do beat him up, he then realizes, oh shit, my dad's wrong. And then we became friends,
mm, mm.
right? Like, and then it's like as I'm getting older, it's like I started to realize, okay, there's certain lanes you got to stay in, and certain ways you got to be, and like you have to code switch, and you have to have, you know, different levels of how you speak with people, and da da da. And like
Which is sad.
when Ram comes, which is sad, and when Ram comes, I'm like, yo, listen, all right, cool, hang out with everybody, but yo, there's certain people. If they move a certain way, you don't want to deal with them. And he's like, why? Like Ram is
Yeah,
like, what are you talking about? I'm
yeah,
like, trust me, you'll get it when the time comes. Like, I don't know really how to explain it to you right now, but certain people just leave it alone.
yeah,
If this happens, don't do that.
yeah.
If you're here, don't go there. Like, and he's just baffled by this. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is back home. I could go wherever, talk to whoever. I'm like, yeah, sure. That's not like that here,
Mm,
right?
mm.
So it's
Yeah.
crazy.
For me, like as I said over here, we go where we want. Doesn't matter who, what color, creed, or whatever. You get treated the same.
Yeah.
And when I was in my recent visit, even to New York, I was traveling around to catch up to friends, even catching the subways and all that. And my friend was just nervous as all hell, literally kept me on the phone or would stay back at work to pick me up when I finished catching up to because didn't want me to catch in the subway from the Bronx and after dark and all this. And I'm going, this is fucking crazy. 8 o'clock in the morning, man. Like it was, they were nervous about me catching a train in broad daylight and you know, I'm a free child. I go wherever the fuck I want, right?
Well, it's a different world over here, man. It's
Uh,
different.
yeah, yeah,
It's different over here. Yeah, and like it brings to mind a piece that I wrote, another Mosaic piece, from a couple, I think a year or two more ago, called Magician's Malice. If we have time, I'd like to read that too.
please.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I didn't want to cut your story.
No, no, no. It's crazy. I mean, we can't even grasp what. Sometimes we think, is this just a joke that they that we're hearing? It can't be serious, right?
Yeah,
Because it's not a normality here. So yeah,
it's wild. It's wild. It's not. It's almost like sci-fi, like the way how
yeah,
different it is.
yeah.
It is.
I honestly, like, I knew about the States. I mean, these guys are living in fucking 300 years ago, right? Uh, that's how we see them. But I didn't realize that it was. that the racism is like that even in Canada. I had no idea. I thought you guys were more like us.
Yeah, no, we have delivery and the devices are different, but it's the same racism.
Let me tell you
Right.
what it is. We have a multitude of different people here. Um, the biggest thing I used to hear was go back to your country.
Mm.
Huge immigrant country,
Mhm.
Canada. Huge
Yeah.
surplus of Southeast Asian,
Mhm.
Caribbean,
Mhm.
European community here.
Mhm. Mhm.
I Majority of my employees are immigrants.
Mm.
Um, be it Filipino, be it Indian, be it Pakistani, be it from Bangladesh, be it from Nigeria, Ghana. It's I rub shoulders with everyone. The biggest thing is everyone else, like we're all together. So if we're of a tone, we band together. It's the outside now is like, oh, y'all are coming into our country. That's where it gets dicey.
Mm.
Not to mention you have the natives that's their country. Right?
Mm.
Then
Mm.
you have the ones that, oh, this is our country. Y'all are taking our jobs. There is nothing there for us. Yeah, we're taking the jobs that y'all don't want to work. Y'all want to
Mm.
sit on welfare and collect disability
Mm.
and do all these things and say Canada's coming is going to the shits because y'all can't get a job. Well, I'm sorry. We're coming here with our education. We're coming
Mhm.
here. Wow, sorry you feel this way. I don't feel no. Garloff, or I think, or Garlo, XO, whatever
Mhm.
it is. I'm just
Mhm.
passionate. I know I may come
Yeah,
across like I'm just very
like he's
passionate.
angry. Yeah, yeah.
I'm, it's not. It's just. It's angst over time.
Mhm.
But this is a reality. Um, this is a reality. I talk to some of my employees that they're going through some things and they can't find jobs because they speak a little differently. They can't
Mhm.
find jobs because certain things they don't understand it, but yet still they're super educated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're all coming here with engineering degrees, engineering this,
Mhm.
engineering that, and they have to work harder than people with a high school education. There's
Yeah.
there's a problem with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Big
a
time.
problem.
Mm.
Big time. Because it's not a merit-based system, right? A lot of times it's not merit-based. It's about who you know, and or who, where, which family you're from, or these kinds of things. So it's not based on merit clearly because and that's the other part too. Like when Ram was saying, they're saying, oh, they're taking our jobs, but these aren't jobs they were doing in the first place. So
Yeah.
who's gonna take them?
Yeah.
Who's taking them?
Who's
that's
taking them?
that's that's
Yeah,
beneath you, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyways,
It's a
enough of
sad
that,
song,
guys. Let's
isn't it?
Yeah, it's a sad song. Enough of that. Let's get back onto the fun stuff, okay?
Let's get to
Yeah.
poetry. Let's get back to poetry. Yeah. So this is a piece, Magician's Malice, and the prompt for this one was begging pretense. So this is malicious malice, Magician's Malice. We've been Houdini'd by the systemic straitjacket, chained with impossible odds and padlocked to the notion of a negative skin tone, dunked in the waters of hatred and blindfolded by injustice, internally goaded to escape. We beg for pardon, but it's never been granted. It's falling on deaf ears ever so gently. The illusion of inclusion is beginning to fade and upheld and voted through by the fuckery brigade. We have been forcefully laid, fed the crap stew, a poisonous brew, leftovers from this repugnant plate, used to pile high the morsels of hate, feeding the truest form of evil until they were blue in the face. They tried to make the Hebrew fluent fall from grace. They knocked them down and they got up again. But we, the so-called free, are still underfoot. Some of us with skin darker than soot, and still we are being told equality is magical. Now you see it, and now you don't. But have you ever seen it? Would you know what it looked? Would you know what to look for if you were told to prove it? We've never been given the chance to peruse or properly pursue it. The sad truth is we never saw it. So what falsity did we perceive since we can't call it equality? We couldn't see through the tears of our mother's pleas. We've never asked for the pretense, and you act as though we begged for it to be exhumed from the wreckage of our history. We came to a bargain because, according to you, we were free for you, but certainly not by our decree. Our price was the highest it could possibly be. We were given a job without an interview, and the references are all too tragic, and we are still trying to quit. We are still assisting in the world's worst magic trick. Blackout.
You, what I like about that, and your other pieces, even Kheneil, you write to a prompt, but you bring it back to reality, which is exactly what I do. I couldn't write, like on the odd occasion when I've jumped on your Mosaic Mondays and so forth, and I've been able to write for a prompt. I can't just write something that just for rhyme and just I've got to relate it back to life, and you do that so well, man. You touch some powerful sentiments, some powerful messages, some powerful issues that societies face around, and you do that so well, and I love that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do have some, fictional pieces and stories and stuff like that too. But yeah, for the most part, for the most part, I tie it to reality. It's easier for the brain
Yeah.
fluids to kind of flow when it's tied to something that I know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. That Gemini, are you with us?
I don't have breath.
You okay?
Yeah, just a, a, a row of coughing fits.
Are you stuffy?
Yes, I am as well. So I told y'all this is not pretty.
Saline, salt water up the nose.
Mm-hmm. Clear out your thing
I
and get some.
shall right now. I'm drinking moringa tea.
Oh,
Like literally, my
nice.
has a moringa tree in front of his house. My mother stopped by to drop my son off, and she picked some of the leaves and gave to my daughter, like boil this for her. I'm
Oh,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm drinking local honey with it, and I just had tilapia and cauliflower, steamed cauliflower for dinner.
That
So
sounds delicious.
I'm eating clean, which I'd already planned on doing. That's why the cauliflower's in the house. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm trying not to eat too heavy. I've been snacking on crackers and honey with tea and eating fresh fruit. I'm just tired of being sick.
I
I'm
hear you.
sorry. It's a beautiful
Get some,
poem.
Thank you. You're welcome. Get some ginger and mint in the mix, and some lime and lemon, and get some vitamin C vibes.
Yeah, I have ginger and turmeric root. I
There we
like
go.
the root better than I like anything else.
There we go.
Yeah, that moringa is really good, and as Kheneil said, chuck some ginger in there and lemon in with that moringa.
Mm-hmm. That's a good
I
mix.
drink that. I drink that pretty much every day, just as a health tonic. That's what I have first thing in the morning.
Nice.
But that's why he
And
looks so young, y'all. That and the vampire blood.
Damn. Damn.
Wow.
I knew it. I knew
Wow.
something was coming. I knew something was
I mean,
I
I've been
just
quiet
didn't
just
duck
as
in time for that one. That one hit me a bang right there. I didn't duck in time, you know. Must be getting a bit slow.
you see, but like if I had not do that, then y'all would send the search party to see if I'm alive. But I've been quiet all of this time. I had to leave y'all with something to think about before my next coughing fit.
the sharp barbs are evidence of life.
Oh, that's only a little nick, darling, a little nick.
Holy Nick. Oh, that came flying out of the skies, that one.
We weren't ready for that, Gemini, but
Got you good. Got you good.
I know. I have to keep y'all on your toes, man.
I love it. I love it.
The um yeah, as I was saying, Kheneil, you can take a prompt and just get some pretty powerful messages there. That's and you do that as well, Ram. You know, like it's that's why I can't wait to see some collaborative pieces by you two guys, man. That's going to be amazing.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. We want to dive into one of those. Yeah, some some conscious, some freedom fighting, some injustice pieces. I think that's where it's
yeah.
gonna that's where the magic's gonna live
I,
for sure
I,
because we have that shared experience.
I meant to call it out before, but King Chosen One actually put in the comments. You know the piece, not the one he just read, the one before. He said he'd like to hear that again. That's how much impact that piece had, right?
oh
That's
yeah,
that's pretty good. You
the
know,
Lust and Riot. Yeah, that one. I remember when I first heard it. Yeah, it was like when we just started lives
Hmm.
through COVID, and we were writing like profusely.
yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
like Heart Tribe. That was during the Heart Tribe
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
era.
yeah.
It's funny, you know, like I mean, as I was saying earlier on, Ram, you know, like there isn't a piece of yours that I haven't enjoyed, but then there's that one that you wrote probably 2 years ago now, the one about the Texas incident.
Is it is it the kids or the Walmart?
Yeah,
The one with the kids?
the
The kid.
Recess.
you know,
Recess.
like I
Recess.
haven't forgotten that, and that was like a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Recess.
Yeah.
Be close. It's
Um,
funny how these pieces stick in your head. You know what I mean? Like you just.
um, I'll do it right now. Why not?
Oh.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
By the
Do
way,
it.
I just placed an order for the book too. Make sure it's signed when it comes.
Oh, oh! It sure will. It sure will be signed. I've signed every single book that I've put out, that I've sent out. It's just one of my things. That's why I wanted it to be very personal. I wanted y'all to know I personally touched the book. I opened it. I signed it. Yeah, so every book that I've sold is signed.
Looking forward to getting it.
All right, so let's get to that piece. Oh, it's a heavy piece, but it's one of those pieces.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Um, Recess. There was never a time in which we didn't think about our future. Dreams clutched themselves to our mind as we gathered around the sandbox, swinging and hanging from the jungle gym of infancy. When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. When I grow up, I want to be a firefighter. When I grow up, it's never been if I grow up. It's always been when. Innocence never doubts tomorrow. Elementary and meek children always embrace free. When did life become a hunger game of hide and seek? They banned cops and robbers as a crack down on the zero tolerance of violence in school. Yet the guns themselves are still rampant. On January 17th, 2021, Texans 21 and older can open carry without permits or training. Where's the logic? How many more of our children must we bury before we incite change? Today there's an empty bed. Today there's an empty car seat. Today there are empty lunch boxes. Today there's 18 children dead who plan to give in homework, who plan to see their crush when the bell rung for recess. Today, 18 children's when turned to never. And tomorrow we'll be burying 18 more. Is this our future? Because there's no future without the children. So I pray. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. I don't think that's the one you wanted.
No, that was I've heard both, and this one was very touching. It was especially with the kids involved, and hearing you recite it. Reading it was phenomenal, but hearing you recite it was also an experience that I relish.
If you would sorry.
Because that one there, it asks so many pertinent questions that man should ask themselves, right? A human should ask themselves.
Sorry, y'all. Let me get to this one because I really, because I read this one really wants to be read.
Yep.
No tears left to cry.
Ooh.
The land wails as she leers upon her current state of affairs, questioning where she went wrong. Inhumane justice has occurred far too long. Each teardrop carries the blood of 10 more graves to dig. 10 more empty shopping carts, 10 more orphans, 10 more widows and widows, 10 no more, 10. Crimson is now synonymous with racism. Soaked in brine, life melanated isn't being preserved. What trials remain to be endured? Black tears never get the chance to dry. We are burying more than we are birthing. It's like a subliminal genocide initiative. Can't we just live? Please let us live. Haven't we borne enough burdens? We pray that in our lifetime we will see an end as our forefathers did and their forefathers before them, but the pain pulsates, the nonchalance invigorates. Is our advocacy and marching in vain? We've been crying for rights, crying for something we already deserve. Didn't we already pay for equality? Or was it just a false sense of freedom? Has slavery become cyclical? The right to bear arms is actually the right to oppress the Black and Indigenous. How much more of our blood must water the earth? How much is more? Promise of free is a filtered fallacy. We want to live. Please let us live. Can we just live? We just want to live. Please, please, please. We're running out of tears. And our tear ducts are gradually filling with blood. Oh.
Oh. The eternal question, how much more of our blood must water the earth before man wakes up?
Much more.
Yeah.
It's
How
been
much?
happening since the invent of man,
Right.
right? And now 2024 2024 years AD, we're still no closer.
Right.
Before it was sticks and stones, and then it was knives, and there's guns, and there's bigger guns, and bigger bombs, and poisons, and chemicals, and whatever. But man's always found a way to destroy fellow man. It's
Yep.
almost like the challenge is when you can live as unified societies across the globe. But this shit was happening in tribes, like indigenous tribes here, it was happening, right?
It's still, yeah. Yep.
Then
Yep.
it was about land, then it was about right and wrong and morals and this, and we always find a reason. We always find an excuse. We
That's right.
find an excuse for anything but for live in harmony.
Yeah. We find an excuse for everything but peace.
Yeah.
It's and it's so funny because it's a song that is known in every language in every country.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's this thing my dad used to say back in the day, when he used to have to tell me things over and over, and I was like a troublesome teenager. He's like, if it was a song in Chinese, you would know it. And
So good.
you know, it's true. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
song, same song, same song,
Same song.
same chorus,
Yeah.
same tune, different orchestra, same song,
Yeah.
different symphony, same
Same,
song.
same song.
Yep. Yeah, that's something we've all got in common, be it whether you grew up in the steppes of Mongolia or China
Right.
or the US, Australia, or wherever the hell you grew up. There's that history, right?
That's right. That's right. It doesn't matter where you go. We seem to be able to find that, you know, that disdain, that divide, no matter what. It's like it's crazy.
Mm. Mm.
Disharmony, basically, you know, we're finding all the time.
Yeah, yeah, it's sad. It's sad. So, Kheneil, any idea when this next when your book will be reprinted or republished and the next one is due?
You know what? I haven't put a date on it yet. I I hope to have it. I hope to have it sorted out. Um, either by the end of this year or early next year.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So I think
Well,
that, yeah, I think I'm gonna put you know, I'm gonna put a like an actual date down, something, write it down somewhere, and then you
work
know,
backwards.
work towards that. Yeah, work on that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we're coming up to the couple of hour mark, so do you guys want to do a closing piece or each? And because sounds like my poor co-host is struggling there, staying alive.
Very funny.
Sorry.
Yeah, I love that.
No comment
What?
from.
No, she's cooking up something. Give her a chance.
I'm just gonna
But
save my breath instead of arguing with y'all at this point.
Hmm.
I told you what you need to do. I posted a poem June 18, Miss Betty. Um, okay, I'll see if I can find that one for you, ma'am. When
Hmm.
Miss Betty requests something, you just do it.
You
Okay,
do it. You do it. You absolutely do it.
you just do it.
A piece that I'm gonna, you know, I think I'm gonna actually read one of my fictional pieces,
Hmm.
this is
one of my
going to be
stories.
different.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so here we go. So this is a fictional piece, okay? So I just want to put that out there. A lot of times you have, you know, you write a piece and then somebody's like, "Oh my God, did it actually happen?" Yeah, it did not happen. But here we go. It's, you know what? Hold on. I'm gonna find it here. Okay, here we go. So this piece is called Death for Sale. Now, just to kind of preface this, it is a fictional piece because, you know, I don't have any direct experience with this, but it's based on things that have happened before. So, but here we go. This is called Death for Sale. This is another Mosaic Monday piece. We are being taken, women, children first, and then the men, as etiquette dictates. Strange how the choices of a queen. Sorry, let me start over again. We are being taken, women and children first, and then the men, as etiquette dictates. Strange how the choices a queen makes for their own bodies, men vomit in debate, as if they didn't take half from all our plates. But they mitigate and try to control the hands that birth them, feed them, and bleed them. The very same bosom that nourished you while you wake, and all you seem to do is take. And you are taught as a boy not to feel, but reveal your strength in lessons of hate. Not allowed to cry, bottling pain to fill the shelves at the market of disdain. Soothers turn to drink, and drunken fists become bruisers. Deep in despair and with no way out, and feeling the need to escape. A man draws the pistol in great details, charcoaled on the canvas of sadness. As the triggers pull all the wrongs together, misled and raised, that if you repent, you still go to heaven. I heard a preacher say once that the pearly gates open not for the suicide case. The women and children first, and then himself, as etiquette dictates. His wife and his daughter's flesh wasn't free. They paid the price, but the bullets were gratis with the gun he purchased. Blackout.
What was the
For
problem for that?
The prompt for that was they act like my mother's flesh was free.
Free.
yeah,
Yeah.
Y'all don't want to hear my poem on that one.
Ooh,
We
that was a doozy.
we already went into that, but it's though fictional, these things have happened.
Yeah.
man.
Hi, Calista.
It's
Oh,
Oh, it's Kyson. What's up, Kyson?
I know
yeah.
you call hello. Copy your dad.
Right.
Yeah.
A mini me.
Yeah. That's my little guy.
The if you I know you said that piece was fictional, but again you managed to, as you said, the lines managed to describe some hard-hitting truths, some hard-hitting questions, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you could easily, not knowing the context behind it, you could easily not realize it's fictional.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and that,
It was based on like some other, like, I've heard quite a few times, like, news of, men, the suicide, double homicide, suicide kind of thing.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you hear them, they kill their families and then kill themselves, and like, you know,
mm,
and obviously that's there's no excusing that at all, but like there was a cause to that. There's a root cause,
yeah,
right? And it's,
yeah,
it's crazy because it's like men these kinds of men become victim to the system that were built by men
yeah,
for men,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like one of those kind of crazy things, right? And then just because of the way we're raised and whatnot, right? Not
yeah,
not to show emotion, and
yeah,
then all of that kind of piles up, and we're human, we break, and this
yeah,
is these sometimes these are things that happen when we break, but I don't know how it brought, like, I don't know how it brought me there. It was just a thing that came to mind, and it just kind of rolled out. So I was like, whoa.
Suicide's hard at the best of times, but murder suicides is just another level of understanding, isn't it? You know,
Different beast.
how bad I can't even begin to think where, at what point of a low you'd need to be able to
Mhm,
do that. You know,
mhm.
especially your own children, your own wife, and then
Yeah.
yourself. Uh,
Yeah.
You see that there's a sickness with that. Even in death, you want to control their destiny. So
mm,
Yeah.
you are too coward to kill yourself and let them live. You still need some form of control because somebody
Mhm.
will take care of your children. It's just not going to be you, and you think to yourself, if I can't take care of them, no one can. If
That's
I
true.
can't
mm,
have them, no one can.
Yeah.
mm,
It usually
There's a,
happens during like marital conflicts because you do not want to relinquish your seed, your children, their lives out of your
mhm,
control.
mhm,
mm, mm,
mhm. And that's like a whole different kind of, like, you know, it's like a demonic ego almost, where, it's like that there's a level of ego out there that's just not even the same as a
mm,
basic level ego.
mm.
That's just as well. And then, like, even the point I was trying to make as well, where, it was easy for the guy to get a gun, and bullets came free with it,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Buy the gun,
mm.
get the bullets for free, and it was easy, it was accessible, right? Um, yeah. So, but yeah, that's
I'm facing something on the reverse side. This funeral I've got on Monday, that family has had 3 suicides in 4 years. So I've known you guys have heard the poems that I wrote about my friend who took his life August 2022. And I was 4 days away from meeting up with him, and it happened to be 2 days before the anniversary of his second son taking his death. And then he was looking forward to catching up with me. I had a friend from the US here, and I was taking her down the Great Ocean Road, and we were going to catch up at this town called Port Fairy. Suddenly, kind of coming up to their second anniversary of his son's death, something snapped. He took his life. And all the boy had left was a note saying, I'm going to be with mum, because they'd lost the mother about 4 years before through breast cancer at a young age. And the oldest boy, Jack, he shares the same birthday as my own son, just 1 year older. So Kurt and I, we had a wild life. We had each other's backs. And then he got married, and I got married. His son was born, and exactly a year later, my son was born. And a couple of weeks ago, I'm at this restaurant when I got a phone call saying that Jack had taken his life as well now, the oldest boy. Uh, that was a Tuesday, and until I held my own son on the Thursday and felt his warm blood flowing through his body, I never felt gratitude like I have, because the tables could have been reversed. It could have been me, could have been my son.
Mm.
I have never felt gratitude as much as I have when I held my son a couple of days later.
Mm.
But my heart now is the daughter, the girl's only about 23, 24. The youngest boy's 20. What scars have they carried? In the last 4 years, they've buried two brothers and a father through the army. And I've known these,
Wild.
I've known them from birth. So that piece, although it was fictional, my mind
Hits.
was going everywhere, brother. It really was.
Yeah. It hits. It hits. Yeah. Well, yeah, man. Honestly, sorry for your loss, obviously, and it's just now it's time to, now it's one of those things where you have to be there, for who's left,
Yeah,
essentially, right? Kind of
exactly.
be a beacon and a pillar for them. So, yeah, dude.
Exactly. Because I've probably known their father, other than his own brothers and his parents, I've probably known him the longest. So, yeah, and I've seen these kids from birth. So, yeah,
Yeah.
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 But imagine in 4 years, 3 suicides in one family, man. Fuck, how do you begin to heal from that, you know?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
just insane. Yeah, that's wild. I mean, it just kind of goes to show you the state of the world, right?
Yep.
Where we're getting to a thing where it's like the opposite of survival. Like we were all survivalists, right? At one point,
Mm.
it was our superpower to survive and adapt, and now it's kind of like turned on its head,
Yep.
right? Finding more and more creative ways to kill each other and ourselves.
Mm.
It's wild.
Yep.
It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Ram.
Yes. Yes. Um. Wow. Um. Yeah. That was a lot.
Hmm.
Kheneil. And yeah, I'm just gonna change the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Miss Betty requested one, so I'll do that one. Um, it's a very short piece, so I'll do that one first, and then I have another short piece to to close us off. Um, this piece was also written um in Mosaic Monday. Um, here you go, Miss Betty. the sun awake, wedges between yesterday and the wool gathering. The night commits larceny and binds me to an abysmal perpetuum. Nothing finds so much space to occupy here. She whispers in echoes and disables lucidity. She whispers and then whispers and whispers. Poem. Here you go, Miss Betty.
Wait. Tell me what inspired that one, man. That came out of whoosh. Tell me. I mean, it was beautiful. It was like,
Um, the prompt. This was June 18th. See, so when you have your notes, um, June 18th. I'll tell you right now.
what you guys come up with for prompts, man. I tell you what, it really speaks of your ability to in your creativity. Like to come up with on some of those prompts, not to even consider the short time limit as well.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It,
it's
but it really, it's the time limit and that subject matter that works in tandem to really like boost your brain to go into a place and do things that, it wouldn't if you had just open time and, you know, an
Yeah,
empty mind. Or not so much an empty mind, because when we are writing, obviously you're pouring out. But like it's crazy how the confines of these things creates a new type of
yeah,
freedom when you're writing.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's the confines of the structure that creates a new kind of freedom for your mind to do certain things.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just not being, caught up in your own head for too long anymore.
yeah,
Hmm.
You force
Overthinking and that kind of stuff.
you force yourself to like trim the fat from the get.
yeah,
You know,
Hmm.
there's no time for like elongation and like sweetening and like adding all these little things. I gotta say what I want to say, and I have to say it in 7 to 8 minutes. And I
Yeah.
yeah,
have to I have to think it, process it,
And put
write
it.
it, and then release it within this time period. So I
Yeah.
have no
yeah.
time. I have no time to sweeten it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, this one I think this one was the waiting season. I'm trying to remember what the prompt was.
Hmm.
Um, I think it was the waiting season. I don't know, Kheneil, the 18th. Could you tell me?
The
Sorry,
waiting season.
the
Yeah.
17th. The 17th.
Yeah. I think that was yeah, last week Monday. No,
Yes.
yeah, last week Monday. Waiting
Uh,
season.
the waiting season. Yeah, or something of that sort. So that's what that was. That. Um, it's 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 talking about loneliness
Hmm.
and that feeling which like I'm not experienced at all right now, but the thing with poetry and memories is it allows it allows this to be immortal. These feelings, regardless of if it's something that is still rampant in your life, so you can always revisit it. Memories, and because I write every day, and there's a moment that brings this sort of deja vu, um,
Hmm.
that allows me to still be able to write like that.
Mm.
And this will go right into the last piece, which I'll do for you guys tonight, which is called Longing's Open Wound.
Ooh.
Love the title.
That's a dude. That's a doozy. That one's a doozy.
Her echoes still claw the center of my nights. The tossing restlessness, obstinate flashbacks of a warm bed, skin thrills in absence, phantom bruising, red, blue, chartreuse, her, her touch ingrained within pulmonary veins, unsent message from lungs to life's metronome. Memories gasp for release from a seized yesterday, release from invisible scars. Sleep arrives with invoked headphones. Silent conjuring of sensimilia. Suffocating. Temporary.
Echoes still claw the center of my nights. So man, what a line that is. And released from a cease yesterday. Yeah. The
Love.
the love may come and go, but sometimes even many years later, those haunting echoes revisit you, don't you, in the silence of night.
That's
Of
right.
course. I
Of
tell you,
course.
It's
man, the witching hour to 3 a.m.s is the best
yeah,
writing time.
yeah.
Uh, the 3
Oh yeah.
a.m. is the writing time.
Some of
Between
my best works come from like, oh, trying to go to sleep and then I can't because this thing is coming and I gotta write it out.
yeah,
It has
Yeah.
to be.
the 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. hours, like it's just beautiful, and I should be sleeping. Like
Hmm
I have shit to do tomorrow, but
hmm
but you
I
know
gotta
this
write this.
gotta write
I
this.
have to write it. It has to come out. I can't sleep if it's still in here. It's one of those things.
Far out. Yeah, that's whew, yeah. It was beautiful, and hearing you recite them too, Ram, it just gives it that other dimension as well. As are some of these pieces in the book?
This is new.
Hmm
Those are
Oh,
new.
right.
So the book is the book once again for everyone who didn't know. Ramon wrote a book. This heart has eyes. The title is self-explanatory. This heart does have eyes. I see, I observe everything, I internalize, and then I put it on paper.
hmm
Um, it's a journey through healing. It's a journey through a journey with self-reflection. It's a journey through self-actualization. It's a journey through love, lies, heartbreak, um, just everything human, um,
hmm
and the journey to self and
Yeah.
selfdom.
Yeah.
Um, edition one, because I still
Right.
got shit to say. Um, thank y'all for having us. This has been
Yes. Thank you.
fun. Um,
Absolutely.
for me and Kheneil shenanigans, because we could get wild in shenanigans.
Yeah.
Shenanigans. But this,
Shenanigans.
I'm glad y'all saw this side of us tonight too, because it's not very. When we're hosting shows and doing this, y'all don't get y'all get the okay, yes, let's get this done. Y'all get
hmm
the like strict in zone
hmm
vibes. Yes, we may
Yeah.
goof off a little bit, but there's a lot of things that are near and dear to us.
Big time.
Art for sure is near and dear to me. Poetry, writing. Thank you, Curly Nikki. You're so beautiful as
Yes.
well.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
very
much.
much.
Um,
Thank you very much.
it's all there. So to be able to just come here and just vibe with y'all and just be open, have like
And
open
free. Yeah.
conversation and free and so that y'all can learn like the little different nuances, the little different things that we are that make us up. I mean, we're not one trick ponies. I'm sure y'all know this. We write everything. We try to involve everything. We are all about growing, um, the community through art, through writing, through conversations like these, something more than
Absolutely.
gibberish,
Hmm.
right? Just just actual, real heart to heart. Thank you, Gemini and Rainier, for this opportunity for Kheneil and I to come and grace the stage with y'all. Um,
Absolutely.
Gem- Gemini, I love you, even though you didn't come on screen. It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
We love you. We love you. We
Even
love you.
though
That
you
goes
didn't
without
come
saying.
on screen, I mean,
Don't worry about the screen. Don't worry about the screen. It's
I mean,
we love you. That's all there is
I'm
to
worried about the screen, but it's okay. Kheneil is more forgiving. Um, just saying.
it. Oh man.
You are so mean. Let me
You
let me
really,
get some curious skill going on here, because you get on my nerves. Let me get some curious skill going on here, because like I can't blind everybody because you want to see my face. Like what? There's nothing special about my face. Let's see how
it
much.
brings me
Don't say
joy.
that.
Hi, Ram.
I can
Hello.
only see a black screen.
I only see black. So, oh, that's what you're trying to do. Oh,
Ah,
I see
hello.
you. I
I
see you.
see you.
there she is.
See, y'all not nice. Y'all are not nice.
It's
We
okay.
appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
Uh-huh.
We
All
appreciate
love.
Let me see if
Yeah.
I can get a little lighter here. Better.
Yes.
The Ram Kheneil, I always enjoy a chat with you guys. And as you said, when you're hosting or you're running a live and open mic or something, you don't get that chance. And to spend these, well, over 2 hours, 2.5 hours or whatever, the conversations with you guys is always profound. It's always interesting, and your work, although different, are so complementary and always hit on some important aspects and things that we need to do, that we as people should ask ourselves. And I love that about your work. It's always evocative and thought provoking to inspire us to be better people. And I love that about your work. And a reflection of how much you guys are appreciated in the community was reflected in the crowd today in the room. Normally on the shows, we get a lot of people come and a lot of people go, and then a lot of people watch the replays because a couple of hours is a long time, right, to sit there listening. But today, this room has stayed busy for the full duration. That is a reflection of how much both of you are respected and loved within the community. Right, it speaks a lot for what you do for people, how much they cherish the time that you put into the prompts, the sessions, 2-3 shows in each week. Not easy when you've got your own family commitments and all that as well, right? And time zones don't help. And to the audience, like so many of you, your comments and all that have really supported the guests that we featured today. Although I don't even call them guests. I mean, I feel like I know these guys. Although I've never met them in person, I feel like I've known them all my life, right? Because I resonate with their ways of thinking so much. But your commentary through and your participation has just been phenomenal. Miss Betty, you're a stalwart here. Every week you're here and you support everybody. Not and that's you're just one of many, and I really treasure the your contribution. And I have asked. Gemini to speak to you about. I'd love to feature you too, Miss Betty. You do so much. I need you to talk to Gemini and work that out. And another gentleman has just come on the screen, George from engraved_poetry. George, I need to talk to you about as well about this show. But look, absolutely loved having you guys. Thank you to
Thank
the
you.
audience. And Gemini, I say thank you to you at the end of every show, but today, thank you is uh, the most gross understatement I can say, because I know how unwell you are, and for the commitment of the show, for the commitment of our guests and all that, I know you're feeling like you're probably feeling like death warmed up now right now, and I really cannot say how much I appreciate you, my friend, for being here for this duration. I really cannot say thank you. I really respect that.
Well, I love these guys, and I appreciate your dedication to the show, all the things you do in the background, and he's the one that keeps everything straight. He made a chart for us. He made a chart for us, and then like an Excel sheet. So he's the one that keeps everything straight, and so I appreciate that. I appreciate your attention to detail and your patience. And guys, thank you so much for coming. Like, y'all know y'all my island brothers, and I'm gonna have to come up to Canada pretty soon, or y'all come down. Forget it. I'll just come to Canada. This is not a friendly place. I, I can bring you to certain parts of Florida. Like where I am is pretty calm for the most part. We can spend a few days here, and then we'll go back up to Canada, and I'll spend a month up there with y'all.
All right.
How about
Sounds
that?
great.
Sounds
Sounds great.
But I
Thank
have to
you.
have a job for the month, though.
Bram, you and I need to figure out a trip to Australia too, because there's lots of Rainier and a lot of others that we've been
as long as
interconnected with
nothing
for
tries
quite
to
some time.
kill me, as long as nothing tries to kill me while I'm there.
Yeah,
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 mate.
yeah.
Can't guarantee that. They can't. They can't guarantee
They
that.
got some serious things good. They got spiders the size of dinner plates. I don't know, man. They got
Look,
birds that attack
and
We
you know why?
have them for breakfast, man.
Exactly.
They're quite crunchy for breakfast.
All
Mate,
right.
you're welcome to come here anytime, and let me know, and I'll make it a point to show you guys around. And
Awesome.
there's plenty of room here.
All right.
Awesome.
The I'll add you guys as collaborators so you can post it on your own pages, the show. And when I do the YouTube video and the podcast, I'll send you the links. But with what I've got going on, it might not be till later in the week or so, but I'll try my best to do it. But heartfelt thanks to you both. I know you've got a lot of commitments and it's a rush at the end of Friday work week. Thank you again to the audience, and thank you, Gemini. Stay safe, stay blessed.
Thank you so much. Love you guys.
I love
Love,
it.
peace, Greece, black out.
Keep writing, keep sharing, keep inspiring, keep loving on one another. Peace out.
Absolutely.
I love. Have a good night, Rainier.
You too, ma'am. Hope you feel better soon.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Have a good day, Rainier.
Yes, it is a day.
Okay.